absolutely.
tool to our box.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely still learning
Yeah.
and developing these interesting gameplay scenarios.
Yeah.
Third map, Rift. I dig this one because you're combining a lot of very interesting concepts, future military complex over a volcano.
Yes, it's I don't want to say
Hyper-realistic.
It's super realistic, yes. But it's got a good contrast to the pack, and we've never done a map, in Black Ops like this. It is very, very militaristic, industrial. There's girders everywhere. It's dirty. It's not a place you want to be, and it's sort of intimidating. You've got this volcano, this caldera that you're over, and the whole map is basically a suspended rail system where they are getting these minerals out, and they are supplying the war effort by just actively pulling things out of the volcano and transporting them all around the world. But because of that locale, it's offered some interesting things that we can do with some of the core movement and overall map design.
Yep, I can speak to that. I assume that's what the hand gesture was. Yeah, so this one is, we're really forcing the engagements on Rift. If you run forward, you will meet an enemy. It's not like some of the other maps where you're going to have kind of these to where you're going to run into that enemy. But we give you these opportunities to be clever and take the middle, for example. The middle is going to be a very head-on battle. But at the same time, we're trying something new with a wall run in the middle that's going to allow you to kind of be clever, and if you've got the skill set, you can kind of pull one of those soft flanks and surprise the enemy. But it's very high risk.
Yeah, this map is very different. This one, the challenge was how do you get as head-on engagement as possible, where you run forward and the only way through is killing the enemy or finding some clever way to use the core movement mechanics, which is very different than the maps we shipped and even DLC 1. And we really accomplished that, where each of the lanes, you're going to hit an enemy and you have two options. You either kill him or figure out a clever way to use core movement to get around him. So it's very different. It's got a really cool vibe and feel.
Yeah, I love the look of this map. It's dark, gritty, and when you're playing, you almost feel the heat from the magma below.
Liquid hot magma. All right, last map, Knockout. This one, love this one. Miles, tell us a little bit about the setting.
So Knockout is a really fun map. On top of the gameplay stuff that's just really unique is it looks like a traditional map, Asian-style Shaolin temple from the outset. And you got this tournament map that's got blood and teeth on it. But the twist to this map and the contrast is that it's actually a privately owned island. So a super rich dude, right, like yourself, John.
Well, this sounds like my bachelor pad. I mean, I almost feel like you guys have peered into my life.
We did. All of our reference images were from your private island.
Okay.
But it's basically this guy that has built this really authentic Shaolin temple because he's really into martial arts, and he hires people to come and fight for him on his tournament. But he also loves the 70s, and he loves old school kung fu.
Again, the parallels are amazing here.
So the interiors, there's one where it's a disco. The guy has his own personal disco with the floors light up, and he's got a disco ball. So you're outside, and you're looking at this very traditional Asian urn, this dragon that's very intimidating, but then you can bust a move by going into the disco for a few minutes, slaying a few people, and then cut out to the rooftops where you can use some of the core movement.
Enter the Dragon Goes Disco?
Yeah. I can speak to the gameplay. Being a student of the martial arts myself, it's not true.
Only in your mind.
Yeah. I try. No, so this one is interesting because kind of one of the core concepts of the map is King of the Hill. So a lot of times we'll have these, say on Spire, for example, we have these two opposing Overwatches. And in Knockout, we've got this central trophy room where you would keep your trophies.
Yeah.
And that's the position you want to fight over. If you're able to secure that position, you're really going to have a lay of the land. You're going to be able to lock it down. You're going to have these exterior rear wall runs on the back side of this trophy room. And then we've got a nice balcony that kind of overwatches the center. I think back to a Black Ops 2 map, which is Slums. It's got kind of a Slums vibe with that big center courtyard. I love that. So with that courtyard, you kind of think back to the Blue Room of Slums. In Knockout, you're gonna be able to have that kind of raised platform in the trophy room and kind of see where everybody's going. And there may or may not be some gongs in this map? I don't know.
Yeah, this one again is constantly pushing, and it's all about you want to get to this destination. We do a good job across all the maps of having really good defendable locations that you want to get to, and this map has that, but the king of the hill aspect is something we really went for. You want to get into that room, you want to get on the mat in the center, and you want to hold it down, and that's where you want to be. So there's constant conflict always in there and holding it down, but it's very hard to do. So that's where the risk and the reward comes. If you can and your team can hold it down, you're going to be successful.
Awesome. Any closing thoughts on anything multiplayer?
Closing thoughts.
Well, I think I can speak for myself and the teams. I think we're extremely proud of this pack. I think we've continually elevated ourselves on the design and the visuals and are putting so much into each map that I think players are really responding to that from DLC 1, and the uniqueness we brought there is we're bringing that tenfold into DLC 2, and we'll continue to do that. So I'm really proud of the team that we've been able to continually do that. That would be the main thing, and then the other thing is shout out to Michael Barnes and Rizzo for helping get some of the video stuff going the last minute.
Everybody was up late, and
That's
thanks to
right.
you too, because I saw some pretty late night emails, so thank you very much. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, John.
All right, so that is multiplayer. Before we move on, a few quick announcements. Not sure if you guys noticed, but yesterday we announced that this weekend we have a double weekend. Double XP, double weapon XP goes live tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific and runs through Monday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific. So if you had any weekend plans, might need to do a little readjusting. But wait, there's more. So this weekend we are also running a free trial of DLC 1 Awakening for PS4 players. You will have the opportunity to jump into Gauntlet, Splazendrak, and lots of gameplay in store for you for DLC 1. Oh yeah. And that again goes live for PS4 players tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, runs through Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific. But all that talk about der Eisendrache, we're going to have a special guest at Noah J456 who's going to jump into a little bit of Eisendrache gameplay in a bit. It's addictive. I just need to say it. But we're going to chat zombies a little bit with none other than Mr. Jason Blundell, director of Zombies. Jason, welcome.
Thank you, John. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Fantastic.
So, Jason,
Yes.
DLC 2 Eclipse has a new Zombies experience. Tell us, what are we giving to fans in DLC 2?
So DLC 2, we're going to the Island of Despair. That's the only sound I could think of to kind of convey the scariness and spookiness of this map. So it's Zetsubo no Shima. I'm doing that to mess with people so they have a hard time pronouncing it again. We started that with der Eisendrache. Zetsubo no Shima, DLC 2. And it is...
Very mellifluous.
It's good use of vocabulary right there. It's, being serious for a second,
Sorry.
it's probably one of the scariest maps we've done.
Really?
I can't be serious that much.
Okay.
It really, the atmosphere, the feeling of it, the artistry really behind creating a map that is more fundamentally disturbing to people. Now, we've kind of gone there in Zombies in the past. Obviously, we're dealing with the undead. But listening to the fans, they were talking about, how do we get back to the roots, how back to maps which are unnerving by their pure physicality. And so that's what Zetsubo no Shima is really about. It's Division 9, a group that has been revealed recently in the storyline, but they go back to Shinonuma, which is all the way back into World at War. And their experiments on this island, and our crew, our gang, are turning up there to find out what perversions of nature have taken place.
Well, you had me at hello. Well,
I just wanted to say perversions of nature.
I hear they opened up at Coachella,
yeah.
or they will be.
That's going to be a meme now, isn't it?
Pretty much. Pretty soon you're going to have a little interview time with Noah J456, but before we jump over with him,
Yes.
you brought a little something special today.
Did I?
You did.
What?
Yes,
Oh, yes, we did.
we did.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna mix it up a bit. Rather than do the gameplay trailer,
Yeah.
I brought a little special asset. I say bring, I mean, we're in Treyarch, so it's here anyway. But we're going to show the intro cinematic to DLC 2.
Say it isn't so.
It is so.
All right. Well, with that, the premiere of Zetsubo no Shima IGC. Enjoy.
密航者どもをデッキへ上げろ。恥さらしめが日本を裏切り陛下にあだなすとは。Take it easy, Tack. どうやって手に入れたんだこの異物を。I'm sorry. I don't speak Japanese. 誰か答えられないのか The object in your hand? It's gonna bring you nothing but pain. Believe me, I know. ネズミどもを海に叩き落とせ I am an envoy of the Emperor himself. I am no traitor! Close. Yes, a little too close. We must go now. Get the season pass now. 4 DLC packs, 1 great price.
All right, so I'm joined here today with Jason Blundell, and the first question that the community has been just pouring out to me is that, are you, in fact, a sucker for Island DLC?
Always, 24/7 actually. I mean, sometimes when I'm sleeping, I'm dreaming about medieval castles.
Of course.
And I hope all the communication and conversation about this has conveyed that correctly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that one. Okay, on to my first real question.
Yes.
So obviously everyone just saw the cutscene for the first time ever.
Yep.
This is the intro and cinematic
Yep.
to the new map. And the part that struck me the most out of it is that all of our characters seem to have the same importance on the summoning key that Richtofen does. And that's something that is a huge change from the cutscene that we saw right here with Dempsey
Sure.
Dempsey going down, or Dempsey 1.0 going down. The characters now see it as almost as an important artifact as Richtofen does. And
Right.
they seem to be following him down this path again.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, can we expect to see more and more of this trust in Richtofen? And does that play into kind of a theme moving forward with not only DLC 2 but the rest of the DLCs?
I tell you, you guys give Richtofen a really hard time. I'm.
Not for unwarranted purposes.
Yeah, it's true, but people change, things change, But I think that natural suspicion in the community is what the gang's going through as well, the team's going through, right? He's been the harbinger of evil and doom for so long that and death and destruction. I think that although he's saying that he is on a path, and they're seeing that now with they had to do it with Dempsey, and we're going into DLC 2. I think they're also wary of him, right? Because the rug has been pulled out in the past. So, I think the summoning key's kind of importance and how they see it and an understanding of what they're trying to do is kind of coming in, and we're going to see more of that in the map. But the summoning key is an integral part.
So I was talking to you a bit about this earlier, but you actually mentioned something that I think the community has kind of taken for granted, and that is the name itself of the summoning key.
It's interesting, that, isn't it?
And I was wondering, what exactly would you count as being summoned so far in the series? Has there been anything?
I don't think anything's been summoned so far.
That's because I was thinking. Obviously, we've had our 4 characters that that were kind of trapped in there throughout the events of Shadows of Evil, right?
Well, I mean, it's you know, you finish Shadows of Evil and you've obviously got the Shadow Man in there, and
Right.
you've just got Dempsey in there.